Okay, so today, yeah, today I want to add in some new assemblies I created this week. I want to talk about some new bill of materials stuff that I was fiddling around with, and I want to finally try and get this plastic ramp done. Um, I'm also not. Hang on a second. Um, there I am. Hey, just moved over there so that's not in the way. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, I want to do three things: add in new assemblies I made, talk about BOM, and this thing. Uh, this week I made a couple new assemblies, and actually I can close this and I can show one of them. It is this guy. So I kind of posted about this earlier, and this is an up-down post. Uh, yeah, I really didn't want to spend like 50, 60 bucks like I've talked about in the past about for just a simple up down post. So I created my own, which is pretty simple. It's just basically a hold on 1 second. It's just basically a bracket, a slam uh, pin thing, and a coil. And now there would be a spring in here. I can't model springs very easily in this. Uh, let's go to this for a second. Edit this assembly. So this is the lowest point on for this particular thing, and it can go all the way up there, which would then edit rebuild. Then it would come up high like this. Right, so it's like this usually. This coil sucks it down. The coil sucks it down, and then you can pop it back up. Now this thing only cost me about $27, give or take, instead of 50 bucks, and that's pretty cool. Now everything on here is effectively standard except for three parts. This bracket can I isolate. So this bracket is a custom dealie that I made. Right? It's just a bent piece of metal that has a couple holes in it. Really, nothing fancy. Then this strike. Excuse me. The strike a pin flat bar is a custom dealie, which would also be the spring retainer. Isolate. It's just a basic little flat flange that's going to be threaded 1032. And obviously the post itself is a 3D printed post that would also be threaded 1032 to go on to the plunger. This is your standard drop target plunger, and everything else is standard Bally Williams parts. Now, something I don't have in here, which you may notice, I don't have a coil stop because this strike plate also acts as a coil stop. When it's all the way down, let's edit this. When it's all the way down at the lowest point, the plunger is still kind of in the middle. It ends right here, and then when it's at the highest point, plunger's here. So this has its kind of built-in coil stop right there. And there's a couple other ways I can do this too, because it's very possible the 1032 bolt here, or not bolt, but the threaded section there might not withstand lots of banging, but this thing has little tabs on it naturally, so I could make this strike flange thing work or like fit right around those tabs, so it still won't shift around a lot. And then I can put a standard just 1032 nut on it. Since this is going to be threaded, I don't need a nut, but I could put a nylon lock nut if I need to shrink it down. So there's possibilities that this can be modified. Anyways, so that's the idea with this. Now, if we look at, hang on one second, while I get to something. Okay, let's see if this is scaled correctly. Go to which pan is this? This would be this one. Yeah. Okay, so if we look at this for a second, what I currently have laid out is the stern up-down post, the Williams coil, and the actual length of post that I need. All together would be like $75, which is crazy, right? This new post that I have, if I switch over to the bill of materials I made for this thing in here. Okay, so this is the new post. Let's say I only make 10 for it. This is $27 for the whole kit caboodle, nothing like the whole shebang. So I don't need hi Jake, hi Sam, sorry. So I don't need to spend $70 each. I can spend like 27, or if I buy a bunch of parts, 25 each, because I even found a bunch of hardware fasteners for even cheaper than I can get elsewhere. Like a box of like 10,000 632 3/8 inch screws is only like is under $300, so that's less than 2 cents a screw, or less than half a cent for a flat washer, which is sold at 25-pound box for 145 or something like that, right? So it's cheap as hell. So if we take this 2744 and we plug it in over here now into this, so we no longer need. Let's change this to Lin down post. We no longer need this coil listed. We no longer need that. We no longer need any. Oh, before I do any of this, let's take note of this. 2057, right? 2057.28. So we're going to put that down there. This is what the price was before I made these modifications. And this is for 2 down posts, 2 solenoids, 2 post replacements, right? Now with the Lin down post, my down post, we don't need any of this. And instead, this is, call it $28 just for chits. So now check this out. This price is now under $2,000, which is within my budget for the playfield, just by making my own posts. And that's, one of many things I'm making on here. So that's awesome. Now, I also realized there's something else I could make, which could save me another $10 per, and that is the, whatchamacallit, the spinner, but Lin, there's no spinner on this thing. Well, actually, I'm going to be putting a spinner on it after discussing and playing it with some people or at my shop. I'm going to change the target bank underneath the pumpkin, and I'll describe this a little bit with the playfield open. I'm going to change the target bank underneath the pumpkin. There's going to be a spinner there, and it's going to be looped back to the upper left flipper. That way you can get there from the right flipper as well as the left flipper, because right now it's very left flipper centric. Yeah, so one of those spinners, like one of the Jersey Jack style opto spinners, is like $30 or something. But I think I can get away with getting it down to like $15 to $20 instead of $30, which is awesome. This also means all these targets I have up here, these are going to change because I no longer need 5 orange spot targets. I'd only need 3 orange spot targets. And then let's put spinner. And let's, just for fun right now, let's call it $30. Like I said before I make the modified one. Hey, this is still excuse me, this is still under $2,000, which is fantastic, and that's even with this miscellaneous budget, which means this miscellaneous budget can go to $100, which kicks me right basically to $2,000, and that means I have $100 right here to make the pumpkin animatronic, which is awesome, which is probably exactly what I need. Yeah, so I'm going to leave this as this because I did change this. Oh, on top of that, I also changed the type of targets I'm using. I'm using more flat targets, so instead of it being $12 and $14, they're all going to be, I believe it's like $9 for all these targets, which also save quite a bit of money, which pulls this back down again below $2,000. So there's a bunch of changes that I made that I was able to optimize, was able to trim things down. And if I go to my totals here, now that also brings the grand total of the game much closer to my $4,000 budget, which is awesome. And again, with playfield parts, this hardware right here, well, this is probably definitely going to change, right? Now that I found, I'm going to open up this spreadsheet. Oh yeah, I put it in here. Now that I found this thing, zoom, view, zoom, 130. And now that I found this thing, the box prices and the bulk prices and the unit prices, which are a fraction of the price that I can get elsewhere, at least half the price elsewhere, which means this, instead of it being $80, will probably be closer to 60. And the cabling, which I have at $98 right now, or about $100 right here, this is assuming a 12 cents per foot average. Well, guess what? I found something else that if I go to, I think I need to go to a web page for this. Yeah, let's go to this place. If my web browser decides to work, I've been losing frames and everything left and right today. Yeah, this place and this wire and let's say this thing. So yeah, and let's choose a value for the time being. So this place right here, hey, guess what? I can now get 1,000 feet of wire for $130, and this is striped with whatever color that I need. So that's 13 cents for 18 gauge, and for 22 gauge, it's gonna be even cheaper. Let's choose a color and a color. It's $81. So this wire assumption right here isn't going to be 12 cents. This is probably going to be closer to an average of 10 cents, which that bumps this down a little bit, which is great. And I'm not going to save all this. But if that bumps down a little bit, if this hardware becomes $60, then this becomes 1963. So I'm already at $100 savings just doing some of these things, which then makes this total even closer to my $4,000 plan. So I don't know. I don't know if this is boring you or anything, but this is all really exciting for me. What did I get? Because that means this project I'm trying to do actually might work and might be in budget. And there's still more optimizations I can do down and around here. So anyways, let's go back to the screen. This one. Yeah, this one. So anyways, there's that. Yeah, it is the realism of building multiple games, and it's the micro optimizations of building multiple games too. Anyways, so we got this guy here. I need those two new assemblies I made, which are going to be from here and in here. Yeah, so I made a couple different heights, and now along this side here, so since this is going on plastics, the plastics are about 1 1/8 inch high above the playfield, which means I need like the lowest point of my my down post to be 1 1/16 inch, right? So it can go below the plastic, let the ball go, then pop back up. And I just so happen to have a 1 1/8, which is because I knew I needed it, which is exactly what I need. Edit, rebuild. Um, Post. So 1, 2, and I need two of them. And these guys are gonna go over here. So where these placeholders are. So I can get rid of this. I can get rid of this. And this is gonna go over on this side. That's gonna go on that side. Let's mate these guys in. Oh, and yes, I do have a little bit of rum chata because it's been a very busy week and a half. And yeah, it's going to be a continued busy week for me. The end of the year is always busy when you're in the game development. I don't want to mount it to that. I want to mount it to this. I want to mount it, and then I want this to mount to this. Now, this hole is over here. This hole is over here. And you're gonna notice a little something. The footprint of this is gonna be slightly different and bigger, which is fine. I'll adjust this target appropriately. This is gonna go over here. Okay, so let's look at the bottom of this playfield for a second now that I added these things in. On this left side, it looks like this target is conflicting, but in fact there is plenty of space here. Now, I will move this target forward a little bit because I got plenty of space up here where these rubbers and everything are to move it forward, and all that's going to do is make it easier to hit, really. So I'll pull this target, it's what, a 32nd of an inch or a 16th of an inch forward. Come on, go back. Yeah, I mean, it's really, if you see where this is cutting in along here, it's really not much. And then on this side over here, this doesn't have any problem. And you might be wondering, hey, but what about this hole? Well, this hole is a T-nut, so I can sink that down because that's just going to this. I can sink that T-nut down, and nothing else is conflicting here. So this is fine. And if I go and I look at these posts straight on, you'll see. So at the lowest point, so this is at the lowest point right now. This post tip is below the playfield, right? Is below this this little plastic ramp thing. Now, if I then move that up to the highest point, which is going to be modifying this assembly and pulling this sucker up to there and rebuilding. Now, when you look at where this sticks up, this is now nice high and up and in through the hole right up on the top, right? And we know that the ball will glide along these edges, which means since this is higher than those edges, sorry, I'm trying to get a better view. Since this is higher than these edges here, the ball will stop. I mean, it will block the ball from going. So this pin will be perfectly fine. So there's that side. And likewise on the other side, it will be perfectly fine. Right? See, it's plenty above there, and we know that it goes below. So we got good cheap down posts. Um, okay, so that was one step. The next step I wanted to do, okay, so the targets in the spinner. So the targets section that I kind of talked about here. In playing it, well, first off, this really needs to move in more to like there. But in reality, this is gonna, yeah, I mean that's a good spot because that opens that up a little bit more. Put that there. Um, but in reality, these two targets I want to remove, and I want to add a little hook loop around back here. You know, kind of like the Cora shot on Tron. And then these targets over here are going to realign a little bit. So instead of this one being straight downish, they're all going to kind of be a little more curved up, kind of. That way it reflects to this flipper. And I think I'm going to change this flipper too. I think I want this flipper actually to be a slingshot arm. So if I put the slingshot arm over at the tip here, well, first off, a slingshot is only $30 instead of $50, so saving more money. But secondly, a slingshot arm will not stick out nearly as much as the flipper does. And one of the big problems with this is when you go to shoot from this lower left flipper down here, this upper left flipper, unless you are really good at staging, gets in the way. And I prefer not to do that. But if it's a slingshot arm, then the slingshot never needs to hold out, really. It just needs to kick, right? Whenever you press the button, it just needs to kick. So it'll never be in your way whenever you use the left flip, or it'll be very rarely in your way because it already would have kicked, right? So I think that'll solve that problem. So that said, let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of this. Now I need to modify this thing. So this target is going to rotate a little bit more to... Oh, that's not attached to the floor of the playfield. Interesting. Let's mate that properly. Throw that on there. There we go. Now let's rotate the target the way I want to. Like there. And this one can rotate a little bit more. So this can be a little bit more arced that way, kind of, right? Now, something else that I think I modified when I made the I did buy these targets already, and I think I already bought. Let me just double check one quick second. Because I should have bought, if I was smart, rectangle targets, not square targets, because that's gonna make a difference. And in fact, I did get rectangle targets. Good. Good. All right. So I'm gonna go modify these. These are all gonna go away. You, and you all go away, and I need to add rectangle targets in there. Nope, this is in assemblies. I need targets. And I need rectangle target. Do I not have just a flat rectangle target? So I have this rectangle target, but this is also a 3D rectangle, and I don't want that. I don't think I have a rectangle target, so I'm going to make a rectangle target. So let's save this for now. Let's grab the rectangle target and call this... Oh no, that's a back mount. I don't want a back mount. Let's take this front rectangle target and call this rectangle targets flat. Okay, so this is going to become the flat rectangle target instead of the 3D rectangle target. I need to get rid of this. and I need to create a head. Yeah. So let's grab the rectangle head. And when I made this, how did I make this? I did a extrude and then I did a shell. All right. I want that to be slightly different. I'm not gonna fillet this. I'm not gonna shell this, and I don't need this bottom cut. This extrusion needs to be centered. Yeah. And okay. This doesn't exist anymore. This boss extrusion is not that thick. It is, what did I make the circle? How thick did I make this? Um, I made it a 16th of an inch. All right, that's good enough. Oops. Not you. Okay. This is going to be 16. 16, 16th of an inch. So now we have a target head. I'm going to save this as rectangle head flat. Take the rectangle head. Let's mount it onto the back of this. And we'll do that. Take this and that, mount it. And then just for posterity, I'm going to take this. I'm going to mate it. Oh, why does it do that? Parallel to the top. No, the top. Yeah. Okay. Now we have an actual flat rectangle target, front mounted. Okay. I said to do that. Yeah. Yes. Oh, where is rectangle? Flat properties. It is not read only right now. Yes. All right. And now that'll be read only again. Basically, I set my things to read only so other assemblies don't accidentally modify them. But that does become a problem when I do legitimately need to modify them. Okay, so now let's pull in 1, 2, 3 of these. And it's important for me to use the flat version instead of the 3D version because that's legitimately what I bought to save some money. And it also is really, in these particular cases, negligible. It's actually more ideal in these cases because of where the posts are, to be honest. Okay. Um, all right, so let's align these the way I kind of want them to be again. So a little bit more. There. Nope, don't do that. There. And Yeah, this isn't curving enough. I will modify that in a moment. And I say it's not curving enough because it's not going past this thing. So I really want this to go past here like this. Come on, rotate the damn target. Yeah. So there. There. Okay, so if I set this like this, kinda, like that. Now let's look to see what the flippers are going to do. So this flipper is going to reflect back onto itself, or that slingshotty, flippery, whatever it is, going to reflect back onto itself. This flipper, if this flips and hits that, that will ricochet over here, which is good. I'm also going to make everything from this point here all the way down rubber, I think, because I think that'll make the most sense. It will also add some interesting play with a rather large slingshot. All right, let's hack this up a little bit more now. Let's really do some damage. All right, this flipper. I don't want the flipper paddle anymore. I don't want the flipper base anymore. What is rectangle target complaining about? I'll deal with that later. Flipper base. That can go away. Okay. So this rail here should not be that long. Should be 5.5. No, oh god, don't do that. You need to stay fixed. You need to unfix. But you need to stay fixed. There we go. Alright, 5.5. 4.5. Yeah, right there. Okay, so this whole section down here is going to be rubber now, which is going to be really interesting, really bouncy up there, right? And then that shifts all that up that way. I mean, I technically don't need this many. Whatever. I'll leave it there for now. Now on this plane, I need. Okay, device holes doesn't know what to do with some of this. So I can unfix you. I can pull you out of the way. I can pull you out of the way. This needs to come down this way, so I know basically what my guide is. And this also needs to stay full linear to this. Overheating issues with what? Sam. Yeah, so that's interesting how that goes out. That this is also actually going to give me more space for this ramp, which is pretty good. Maybe question mark. Oh, overheating with the slingshot. Well, the slingshot isn't going to be held out. The slingshot is just going to pop out and retract. It's not going to hold. And whatchamacallit, WWF used slingshots in its, or the Stern WWF used slingshots in its ring for things, and those didn't seem to be burnt out. And yeah, I mean, when you hold the flipper down, it's just gonna go poop, and you have to release the flipper in order to do it again. I mean, it's not just gonna hold the thing out. And even if I wanted to hold the thing out, I could just PWM the whole coil. So that's not a big deal. Okay, so this is my guide for this. And I'm going to view this sketch because I need to add a couple more posts. All right, so for the slingshot, it's going to be double rubber posts because of the type of action it's going to be getting. I think it needs to be double rubber posts. So I need posts. I need a double rubber post here. Double rubber post here. Oh, that's going to line up really nicely, actually. And then the slingshot arm is going to be here. So this whole section here is going to kind of bend out a little bit. But it's going to have like an inflection point. So let's add post holes for this because these absolutely need to be T-nuts without any question on this. Now, a slingshot arm is a slot. Goes like, yay. It's 1/2 inch. And this particular one is going to be 0.75 inches, I think. Oh, this one might need to be a rounded rectangle. I'm using a different style slingshot than what you guys might expect. I'm going to be using a Bally linear slingshot. Come on. So one of these things, right? This makes, well, first off, this is cheaper than getting a Williams sling. This is only $40. But I'm pretty sure I can optimize this a little bit because this part I think I can make as a metal tab. This plunger I think can be the same plunger I'm using everywhere else. And this metal bracket, I think I can just make my own metal bracket. So I might be able to turn this into a $15 part. We'll see. But for the time being, for prototyping, I can use this thing. And yeah, it's got a little arm that kind of kicks out and goes forward a little bit. But yeah, this has a square slot here. So I should probably use a square slot as per the spec. Which means this should not be that. This needs to be that. Come on, give me. Needs to be this. Please and thank you. Okay, this can still be 1/2 inch wide. This can still be 1 inch long. I think that makes sense with that. This, like all these corners now need to be fillets. 1/8 inch. So now it's just a little bit more square, right? This whole thing, I need to center line and align it properly. So this needs to be parallel, or I mean perpendicular to this. I do want, yeah. Okay. I want this to be, I think, right exactly on that line, actually. Oh, yeah, I need to align this with, how did I do that down there? I aligned it with the center points and then offset it. Sorry, I'm trying to remember ways of doing things, and then this will guarantee that that is always in the right direction. So this, not perpendicular to that. These two things are perpendicular. This comes in under here. And this needs to be, stop showing all these things. 3/8 inch up. No, no, oh, no, not 3/8 inch, because that's the other side. It needs to be 3/8 inch on this side. I'm thinking in reverse for a second, which is not what I want to do. This needs to be 3/8 inch. Yeah, so the actuator sits back here, and then it's going to kick forward. This actually might need to be further up. 55. So that's where that comes. Then this comes in that bam. Yeah, I think 1/8 is going to be right because then that bends out. So basically, this is going to make this line go to effectively that when it kicks out. So when you kick, and if you kick it right at the right spot, it should throw it up this ramp. It should throw it up this ramp. I'm not guaranteeing that it will, but it should. All stuck behind it either, since that'll, how, now there won't be balls stuck behind. Yeah, no, there won't be balls stuck behind the flipper either, because it's just rubber. If anything, it'll hit this rubber and bounce back out. So it does solve a couple problems in theory, assuming this works and assuming a it's the way it is now. What I do have a couple of these linear things at my shop. On Sunday, I will go and I'll measure to make sure I have the actual correct throw, because it's either 1 inch or it actually might be 1.25 inches. You know, which would be more ideal if it's 1.25 inches. But that also means this is going to have more of an overroll potential problem. So I don't know. I'm really not quite sure. 1/8. It's really hard to tell, but anyways, if the ball rolls down here, make you 1 1/8, or I'm sorry, 1 1/16. The ball rolls down here normally. I mean, it could potentially get stuck right there if that. So it's probably only 1 inch. I mean, I don't know. This is a thought, but if you can kick it right here, this will fling the ball up and around. And we know slingshots are really strong. So I mean, that would be neat if that's the case. Okay, so the other thing I need to fix is this up here now. I might not get to the plastics tonight. I can't stay up too late. Um, unfix that. Let's pull this all the way down. Or you're parallel to this. This is fixed. Okay, yeah. We'll fix this. We'll fix this, but this is going to need to bend and arc slightly differently. Like, yay. Then I can put a post here that'll bypass this. That's going to be a little too wide. Because I really just want the spinner to be like right here. So these targets probably need to pull in more, to be honest. They probably need to pull in. Uh, and this needs to not be so fixed like that. This can come over here more. And then this. Oh, they like this. Can come in like this. And then that's still a wide enough shot for you to come in and loop right around. Right at this post is where I'm going to have the exit. So this can be a flat piece here, kind of coming along here. Then this section here can still exist, but I'll have a little loop right around. I might as well draw it like this. So this can come in, hey, draw, and like this. And then this curve needs to be 0.5, 1.5. Okay. Fix this here. Get out of there. Let's fix this. Let's make that come up here more. This should be 1/2 inch. This should come up here more. Like that. And this right here is probably going to be, actually, this needs to come in that way. Funnel it. Like that. I don't want you horizontal. I need this and this to be parallel. I need the distance to be 1 3/16. Okay. And then this can be 1/8. This distance can be 0.5. This comes back. Nope, stop that. This is fixed. This comes back here. Basically. Fix this. Cool. All right, 0.5. Cool. Let me pull this thing. Really? Let's draw a couple balls in here. Let's see how this is looking. 2, 3, 4. They're all equal. These are all for construction, and they're all 1 1/8. Here, 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 here. Don't move around. You do need to go like right there. Unfix that. Come on. What are you doing? Get off of that. Oh, Christ. Come on. Go away. Go away. Okay. Go away. Alright, so this... Nope. You stay there. You go in there. You... You can't be parallel. This stays fixed. This comes down there. Because this... needs to go more like here. And then this can probably, 1 1/4 is correct for that. That's gonna ricochet off that and rattle like a son of a bitch. This needs to be more straight like this. And which means this needs to be more curved like this. So if this hits here and bounces from there to there, yeah. Okay. Um, be a dead rubber post right over there. Oh, right, because the ramp is attached. So, yeah, that can move down there. That's fine. It's fine. This is still down. That's going across. Oh, that's not going to... Well, the point of pulling this down like this is to kind of direct it down more. Ricochets there. That ricochets that. This really like that. So I want a spinner here though. So this is definitely going to be too wide for the spinner. So these targets might need to come out more to deal with it. So this shot is getting to be about 1 1 3/4 inch wide, which is fine for like a middle shot. This actually looks like it might work okay. Um, I suppose I can make this shot come up this way and then dribble back across. I don't know how satisfying that would be. I don't know how satisfying that would be. Um, so the point of this shot specifically is for this flipper Oh man, that flipper's like gonna be shooting straight up and in there. That's not gonna be a problem. This flipper, I don't care as much about, but that's gonna be straight. Yeah, that's not a problem at all. It's there and reflects that. Yeah, no, I think this is fine. Actually, take this, pull this down a little bit. There. As much as I want that to be up like that, I think this does need to come down a little bit. Make this a little more viable. Okay, I think this is the correct shot now. Okay, so in doing this, obviously this needs to come up here more. Like this. I could put a flat target right here. I could. I have the extra $7 for it now. All right, let's make these targets work the way I want them to first. Because this is obviously not the right way anymore. Layout. Sketch. No, assembly. Makes more sense for this to be like here. I want it to be kind of underneath the plastic over here. So this is going to be more like this. Huh, maybe these can't be. No, I can make this work. So long as that entrance is the same. That's got to go like there. That's got to go like there. Oh, no. Gonna go like there. That's gonna go like there. That's gonna go like there we go. That's where it is. That's where it is. Right there. And then that doesn't block this entrance much anymore. And if it does block it, I mean, you're going to hit this target and you're going to ricochet over here. So those targets are going to hit into this, bring you back over to this left rubber system, or you can shoot up and into that. All right, let's fix this curvature now. What? Not what I wanted to edit. I wanted to edit this one. Like that. and pull forward like this, this, like this. No, they can't. I need to modify the entrance of it. This can't go here. It needs to come down. No. You stay up here. You come down here. And then this arch comes up like this. Yeah, there we go. So all the feet are well hidden underneath here, so it's mounted well. And yeah, I don't mind pulling this forward a little like that. That's fine. Yeah, okay, so all these feet are mounted well in there. I have plenty of space to shoot up through there with that shot. That shot is perfectly shootable from this flipper down here that goes straight up and into there. It will ricochet off of that, but it'll loop right around. I can easily put a spinner right across here. Right across here. I can have a hanging spinner. And the spinner will also help deaden this loop around a little bit. This post actually will come. Not move that. Oh, that post can actually move over to here. Which gives this a spot to actually sit. This guide I'll trim and I'll adjust. I'll basically need to copy and paste the guide and make a new loop around. Wait, what is your problem here? Why are you complaining about a relation? Oh, yeah. I don't need this anymore. Why are you still complaining about a relation? Because of this one too. Right. And then pop T-nuts should be attached to this. And you should be attached with this. That doesn't matter anymore. All right, so there's that. There's the new slingshot flipper. A little concerned about this pinch spot right here. Pull this forward to tickle. That would affect. Yeah, I'm a little concerned about this spot right here. The rubber probably is going to be fine. I just don't want you to slam right into the corner of this, but that might be somewhat inevitable with how this is kind of laid out a little bit. But we'll see. I guess the bigger question is, what size rubber is this now? This is 5.5 inch rubber. Do those even exist? shoot. Yeah, I think they exist, right? 5.5-inch rubbers exist. I think 4 is the standard, though. No, 4-inch is the biggest. So that might be a problem. However, none of these targets here, whoops. None of these targets here are really reflecting into this section, so I might be able to pull this down a little bit. Four and a half. That's about 4. I might be able to pull it down to there. And then this guide can continue. Oh, nothing. Okay. Then this guide can continue like there. And then obviously this needs to come up. So that might work. Because that's now a 4-inch rubber. So I swear I can make it large. What I'm going to do is, again, at my shop on Sunday, I have 4-inch rubbers. I'm going to pull them out tip to tip. And because the 4-inch, that's the 4-inch radius. And when I pull it out, then I think I'm fine. Can't undo. Of course I can. All right, well, let's go back to this. Not that. Back to this. Did that change the arc of this? Wait a minute. I think that changed the arc a little bit. That's not... Stop editing that one. Where'd it go? No, these are all fixed. Okay. And then this comes back up here. All right, yeah, stop that. I'm going to assume it's going to be fine because a 4-inch ring, when you pull it out, it's going to be larger. So I'm just So this might actually be like a 3.5-inch ring, which is fine. It's going to be a double ring anyways, because this is a double post. All right, it's a double post. Now I can hide this again, because I think that's all set up okay. I'm going to need to make this whole thing eventually. Yeah, I do wonder about how far out that slingshot goes. Because this thing does kind of come forward a little bit. See that? Oh, and if I use a flat, if I make my own mech, I think I'm just gonna make my own mech. Because then I can have a flat bar come out, come up, come out, come up, and it can really just push, and I can have the whole thing back further, and I can definitely have a 1 inch, or hell, I can have like a 1.25 inch kick out. Because that's pretty far. I think that's what I'm gonna do. So this week, I'm going to design my own mech for this. That way, this whole assembly can be further back, or this whole cutout can be further back. Because I'd love this to be, yeah, 1.25, but I'd love this also to be, come on, click on it, 3/8 back. So it sits back flush here, but still kicks way out. That'll be really nice. And then I know for sure that'll work. Okay. All right, well, while I'm at it, stop it. Come on. Why is this screwed up? Let's save this. Let's figure out what's going on with that target. It probably screwed something up. Let's save any of those. Targets. Rectangle target. No, that rectangle target's fine. Rectangle target's fine. Rectangle target's fine. What is wrong with that other target then? It's complaining about this target. Oh, there it is. Okay, maybe I hit something that I didn't mean to hide. All right. That's rectangle target. Technically, that should be 3D, but it's not. This is going to be a rectangle target also. So if I get rid of this, I bring a rectangle target in and mate this. So I'm probably not going to get to working on the plastic tonight because I was working on all these other little pieces of this. Oh well. This needs to be parallel to the target. And I need to place the target where I want the target. Here. And then that hole needs to be a little bit bigger. That, unfix this. Pull this down a little bit. Pull this up a little bit. This does not need to be 1/2 inch anymore. This can be 3/8 inch because of the target. So there's that. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's fine. I mean, nothing up here really reflects and hits the corner of that, unless you hit this post, I suppose. Hmm. Yeah, it's fine. I'll leave that for now. If it becomes a problem, then I will just turn it into a 3D target. Okay, now this target over here on the left side needs to pull out more. I really don't want that hole to be like that. So, I mean, not by much, just by a little bit. Oh, actually, wait a minute. Because this is a flat target, that's probably fine. I did change this to be a flat target also. Make this parallel. To this front face. Really? Go back. I'm not trying. Really? Mate parallel to this. I don't understand this program sometimes. Okay. This view, let's put this in place there. And then that hole can be 3/16 instead of 1/2 inch. I'm sorry, 3/8 instead of 1/2 inch. That is not the direction I wanted it moved. That's the direction I wanted it moved. Okay, and then this can come forward. Come on, let's come forward a little bit. That fits in that hole just fine. Come on, stop doing that. All right, so that's flat in there. Just doing that little cut. I mean, I didn't move the target really at all. I just changed it to the flat target type, which meant the hole can be a little bit smaller, which meant this now doesn't conflict in this area. Yeah. So that target's all set. Those targets are all set. That target's all set. That's now a linear slingshot. Those posts are in place where they need to be. Yep. I think that's doing pretty good. And I have this section mapped out. Okay, here's a question. Where did I start this rail? That would be under guides metal, and that's this one. Oh, goody. The 3D sketch is right in the part that I want to remove. Oh, all right. Well, that effectively means most of this needs to get rebuilt from scratch. Well, that kind of sucks. Unless, no, no. Unless, instead of doing that, I slice it here, then I do an extrusion along another line here where I need it to be, and I add mounts. I'll do that. It's a cheap way out, but hey, it works. And funnily enough, I have this post here that's been sitting in the ether. I can put this post right here now. And that would make sense for this particular ramp section. Oh, now that I move this ramp around a little bit, this doesn't line up anymore. Funny that. So that's something else I need to fix, apparently. Yeah, I mean, I guess the easy way to do that is to just make this flange, or make the hole in the flange right over here, right? Um, am I still online? Yeah, I think I am. I'm just staring a lot, so it seems like I'm not doing anything. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna need to modify this thing, which I'll do another stream. I'm getting tired. Like I said, I've been really busy this time of year, and I'm still gonna be really busy. But I didn't want this to go by the wayside. This thing here is gonna be all part of this new sketch. So this is gonna kind of come up, fold over, and fold down, I think. Because this flap right here can come in and be a little bit of a slit. This is the thing that can be um like mounted. This can be mounted here. This can be mounted like here, and then I can put one other middle mount here. But then there can be just kind of, because you're not. This isn't going to get direct forces. This side's going to get direct forces. This side's going to get direct forces. This side is not. So that can just be one little like triangular piece. It's going to be a little bit of a pain in the ass to bend. Um. So maybe it makes sense to make it two pieces. One little flappy piece here, and then a loop piece. I'll think about that. I'll ruminate on that a little bit. Um, this along here. I mean, you are gonna have a flipper shooting into this, so I suppose I can leave this as it is. I mean, technically, this probably only needs to be a 1, 1, and 1 along here now because it's not nearly as long. But I mean, that's negligible. That's like 5 cents, so that doesn't really matter too much in the grand scheme of things. It's like less than $1 for for a dozen games or so. So I don't think that's going to matter too much. And then the spinner's going to have to go across here. And the spinner, so I could be cheeky. I could be really cheeky, actually, if I want to do this. I don't know if I can be, but I might be able to be. So this is the spinner I'm going to use. Basically like a standard Williams-y almost type spinner, but it's for optos, right? Oh yeah, here you go, Jersey Jack spinner. Actually, is that the opto spinner? Might not be the opto spinner. This opto spinner uses 18702. Is what spinner that is. Question mark? Question mark, I suppose. All right, well, I mean, if we take a look at this for a second, that has a flat part coming out horizontally. I think that's what the difference is, right? That's what this is, not the flat part coming out. Oh, yeah, this looks like it's a flat part coming out horizontally. 106801. 1870, yeah. That's definitely wrong. All right, well let's pretend for a second that that this is what it is. In theory, I could just mount this into the side rails itself, right? I could just have two rails here. I could just have two rails here that the spinner goes through. Or I could take this rail and I could extend it over and add a hook, all part of the same rail. So it's a spinner rail assembly. And then that removes the need for a mount, because this mount is, $10, and I know I can make a mount from Sencut Sen for like $3 or something. It's just a simple little flat piece, right? That I then bend in a couple spots. I can't make a spinner easily. So the spinner would have to be about $10. So with those two things, and then the opto, it's just a regular opto. I mean, the other possibility, I could get this left side spinner. I mean, that's $24 still. Like the bloody bracket itself, if I go to the bracket, is like $10 for the damn bracket. And then the spinner is like $20 for just the spinner. So let's say $25. If this goes on the left side, for example, the left side is over here. And that could maybe fit, like right there. But it wouldn't have a lot of coverage. That's the thing. It wouldn't have a lot of coverage if I put that over here and it kind of dangles a little bit to here. I mean, it might have enough coverage to spin. I don't know. I think it would be better to have like a standard full like Williamsy type spinner. You know. Um, so I believe I do have a spinner on order. Take a quick peek again. I do have a spinner on order. Okay. So I have a spinner on order and it's right mounted. So it would basically go across this way. So when that arrives, maybe later on this week or something, probably by Friday or Saturday. Oh, probably by Saturday at this point, if it ships tomorrow. Um, I'll take some measurements and I'll see what it requires and see what this is because if it can just mount right across here, then that would be great. That would cover most of this space, and it'll look better, right? When you shoot into the spinner, up and around, it'll deaden the ball enough when it goes around the corner that it's not going to be like a super crazy speed shot. All right, I'm getting really tired, so I think that's enough for today. I hope some of you got things out of this today. I certainly did get some extra work and some extra noodling around done. I didn't get this plastic done like I kind of wanted to. That's okay. I got a lot of other things done. So until next time, I don't know when it's going to be. Maybe Saturday. I'm really, really busy this week. So until next time, have a good one.